Hi, my name is Kubeir. Welcome to the channel. And today's video is about this recent update which came yesterday that the border restrictions are going to be extended for another 1 month. That has brought a lot of despair and frustration for a lot of people. And people have been posting a lot of questions, queries as to what's happening because there was very high expectation that the borders will finally be open, especially with the United States, at least by the 21st of June, 22nd of June, actually. But again, it has come like almost like a bombshell that this is going to be extended further. A lot of people are frustrated, angry, irritated, because mind you, these restrictions have been in place since March, I think March or April of 2020 already. And it's been more than a month and we need to get a move on. There was a bit of promising and positive news earlier a week or some back saying that Canada will finally allow people and will lift the quarantine restrictions, will lift the quarantine requirements that will no longer be required. And that was obviously very promising. And we felt that along with that will come the ease of border restrictions, which will then open doors for so many other things that we have been waiting for. But unfortunately, that did not happen. And this was already indicated. I mean, if I take you to this website, which was news, which was published on, it was published here on the 13th of June itself. So they had not reached. So they did meet. The Prime Minister Trudeau and President Biden did meet in early last week, and they did not come to any deal. So there was no agreement of this border opening, and this was already in news. So as you can see, this was already there and we were already aware about this. And yet we were very, very upset about this. But there are a lot of people who want to know, why is it that international students can come to Canada, but everybody else is getting restricted? And I'll come back to that in a bit. But now that we have this restriction, and this is going to be in place for at least one more month, this restriction is in play until July of 21st. In the first week of July, we also expect Canada will ease restrictions on the quarantine. So if you're fully vaccinated passenger, which basically means you've received 2 doses of valid, when I'm saying valid, hold on, valid is not the right word. If you have received 2 doses of approved vaccine, approved by Canada, and those are Johnson & Johnson's, Moderna, I'm forgetting the Pfizer, and there is one more, of course, AstraZeneca. If you have received these 4 vaccines and you have 2 doses of these 4 vaccines, then you probably would be exempt from undergoing the hotel quarantine and the 14-day quarantine period. You will have to still take the pre-departure COVID test, and you will have to take an on-arrival COVID test. So once you get your negative test for this RT-PCR, then you will be on your way and you will not have to quarantine further. This will be applicable to all Canadian citizens, residents, and all travelers who are exempt from travel restrictions at this point of time. So that includes international students, families, spouses, workers who are already exempt from under the travel restrictions. They will be able to come in. They will be they will get this exemption. Because there is so much of pressure, I personally feel this definitely seems like the last month of restrictions. There has been so much of pressure on the political side of things, on the business, economic, commercial side of things, that I personally feel this was definitely going to be the last month. Obviously, keeping in mind what is the situation with the pandemic across the world. The first month obviously is going to be the ease of travel restrictions with the United States, and it will then continue and follow with the other countries as well. It is already coming in hand with the vaccination exemptions. And once that happens, once the travel restrictions start easing out, you will then start seeing lots of other positive movements throughout different factors that we have all been really waiting for. And that includes your federal skilled worker draws, that includes your your passport requests finally coming through, applications being finalized, post 18 COPR applicants being allowed to travel, Right, absolutely down the line, I feel would be the visitors. At this point of time, I don't think that is being considered as a priority. They do want to hold back. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau did say that the vaccination program in Canada is what will decide when they will lift these restrictions. And one of the criterias was that 75% of the citizens and residents have taken their first dose, and 20% have taken their second dose as well. We are getting pretty close to that. I think we are quite close to that already. Ontario has beefed up their vaccination program. Alberta is doing it. Alberta is even announced that they will remove the requirement of masks very soon, probably towards July, once their vaccination program is seeing the kind of plan that they had put into place. So all of this is quite positive. We are moving towards positive positive way of things. And that's what we're looking forward to. So there was always this question as to why are international students being allowed, and why do they still consider that vaccinated people cannot travel, and why the restrictions, and why this and why that? Well, at the end of the day, I personally feel, and it's not something which is official anywhere, or this is personally my feeling, my opinion, that they've always tried to protect the residents, and obviously the political leadership should always be seen doing that. So in their way of things, that is their way of protecting the public in this pandemic scenario. International students were obviously allowed because they're a huge community, number one. Number two, they contribute in billions to the economy, to the education industry. So they obviously tend to be something which had a priority. Obviously I'm sure there was an education lobby also who was pushing for that. Also, you have to understand is that they have private insurance, so their health burden is not falling on the government exchequer. So they have their private insurance, they are paying for it themselves, they're paying for their fee up front. All of these are contributing factors. Whereas if an immigrant is coming to Canada, initially there is the thrift way of doing things. Obviously, they may have funds, but that will seep through slowly. They will obviously be the responsibility of the provincial health system, healthcare. Not only that, there is obviously ongoing job market situation, which is quite stressed out at this point of time, quite stretched as well. And all of this collectively would sort of put you in a position where you would say, okay, do you want to come to Canada at this point of time where you will obviously struggle to find jobs? Everything is under lockdown. You cannot move around. Businesses are closing. So I guess people who have a much larger view of this situation, larger perspective of the situation, they were the ones who made the decision. And that's how it is. But all that aside, as I said, there is a silver lining. We can obviously now expect, hopefully going forward, that end of July should also see end of restrictions for these travels. I always stay forever hopeful because that's how I am. Are not following us on Instagram, then please do. We do keep posting a lot of stories, tip of the day, and a lot of useful information. Usually, most of the information I share comes first on Instagram, so that's always a good thing to do. You can also drop us an email on this email address, support@askkubeir.com, if you wish to check about our services that we offer, because at the end of the day, I am an ICCRC licensed immigration consultant. And you can obviously book an appointment if you wish to discuss your application, your case one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you next time with more update, more news, more information as and when they happen. Thank you. Stay safe and stay tuned.